The 2023 MLB trade deadline is officially in full swing, and unfortunately for us Mariners fans, it's no longer time for Paul Sewald to pitch. Paul Sewald is now an Arizona Diamondback, a team that we all knew was eyeing our bullpen or many bullpens across the league for some back-end high-leverage reliever help, and the Diamondbacks got a great get in Paul Sewald. Ever since he came over to us from the New York Mets, Paul has been nothing but extraordinary. Sewald put together a magnificent 3-year stretch with the Mariners in 2021, 2022, and the first half of 2023. He's been an elite back-end bullpen arm, posting an ERA plus of over 130 in all 3 of those years. Again, thank you, Paul Sewald, for everything that you did as a Seattle Mariner. It's going to be tough not having you at the back end of that bullpen, but for 1.5 years of Paul Sewald, the Mariners got 18.5 in 2 MLB players and 1 guy that's close-ish. The 3 players coming back to the Mariners from the Arizona Diamondbacks are Josh Rojas, Ryan Bliss, and Dominic Canzone. Josh Rojas is basically left-handed Dylan Moore to a certain degree. He's one of those guys that can be a spark plug, a platoon guy, but he just hasn't had that same success this year. In 2021, Josh Rojas played in 139 games and had 484 at-bats for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he posted a 103 OPS plus, meaning he was 3 points better than the average major league hitter. He played all across the field for the Diamondbacks in 2021, having over 200 innings in 3 different positions, those being second base, shortstop, and right field. Same story would be in 2022, however, he would develop third base as his main position, playing 740 innings there, and in 2022, his offensive output increased. Over 125 games and 443 at-bats, he would put together a 112 OPS plus, with a slash line of 269, 349, 391, and 739. Josh Rojas, he's serviceable. He's not doing great this year in 189 at-bats. He's only got 43 hits with a 228 average and a 64 OPS plus. However, the floor on Josh Rojas is, I feel like, a platoon guy, right? And we've got him through 2027. So there's more control already existing there. Ryan Bliss, the number 29 prospect for the Diamondbacks. He's a second base, shortstop, middle infielder guy currently in AAA for them. He will likely report to either AA or AAA when he comes over to Seattle. In AA this year, he was hitting 358, 414, 594 with a 1008 OPS. Dude was mashing in AA, did not have the same success in AAA, so give him a little bit more time in AA, let him develop a bit more, and he could turn into like a Jose Caballero kind of bench platoon guy in a year or two's time. Maybe. Joe Doyle's pretty high on him, so take that with what you will. The big get from the Diamondbacks in this trade, the number 1 piece, has got to be Dominic Canzone. Number 19 overall prospect for them. He is in the major leagues currently for them. Hasn't had a bunch of success with Arizona so far in 2023, but it's only in 38 at-bats. Dude's hitting 237. But in Reno this year, at AAA for the Diamondbacks, he was hitting 354, 431, 634 with a 1065 OPS through 257 at-bats. He is an outfielder slash first base, so he fits the Seattle Mariners mold quite well in that regard. And his splits in the minor leagues aren't that aggressive against lefties versus righties. He was hitting 280 in Reno against lefties this year and 350. So yeah, he's going to get a little bit more overexposed to major league left-handed pitching, but he's shown that he can hit it at the lower levels well enough to not be a full platoon piece. Dominic Canzone can figure into your everyday lineup should the playing time be available to him. This is definitely not going to be the only move, as we saw AJ Pollock and Mark Mathias get traded to San Francisco as I started recording this video. That trade's probably just more about a roster crunch, not necessarily trying to figure out where guys are going, because AJ Pollock was kind of a nothing move at the end of the day because JK had a better start to left field than we originally had imagined. But losing Paul Sewald, it's going to be tough. We traded Kendall Graveman in 2021 and we saw the clubhouse kind of go into a bit of disarray. Paul Sewald, I think, meant way more to this club than Kendall Graveman. This is going to be magnitude times 100 compared to that deal. Paul Sewald, we appreciate everything that you've done for the Mariners organization, and go help the Diamondbacks make the playoffs. Go help them chase the pennant. Because if there's a guy that, deserves a chance like that, it is Paul Sewald. Not to say that he couldn't do it with the Mariners, but for 1.5 years of Paul Sewald, the Mariners are getting 18.5 in control in pieces that the Mariners need right now. It's a tough pill to swallow, but Right now, this is a pretty solid trade for Jerry and Justin to have pulled off. And now the corresponding roster moves surrounding this trade, likely, there's going to need to be a bullpen piece called up from the minors to replace Paul Sewald. I would say Juan 10 is going to be that guy. I think he's already in Seattle based on what I've been seeing on Twitter. And as far as Josh Rojas and Dominic Canzone, because Ryan Bliss is just going to go to Arkansas or Tacoma, Rojas will probably be on the major league roster and replace Kolten Wong because you like Rojas's positional flexibility a little bit more than Kolten Wong, and they're playing at a similar clip in terms of offensive production. So I think you bank on Rojas and kind of, not to say give up on Wong, but let that ship sail. Marlowe versus Canzone is an interesting conversation here because you could just send Canzone to AAA, and then once you trade more guys and figure out where the roster crunch kind of needs to go, then you can call up Canzone and everything's fine. But you could have Canzone on the roster right now and trust that his AAA stats are legit compared to Marlowe's, where Canzone's batting a full 100 points better batting average wise than Marlowe was in AAA. You could bank on that and have him be Marlowe that's on the roster right now and option Cade. But see you guys tomorrow 8 in the morning for a live stream centered around the entire MLB trade deadline of every move going on. Come chat with me there live, getting live responses and getting live look-ins at what is happening around the league. Thank you guys for watching this one, and go Mariners.